You are listening to the William Gomes Podcast. I am William Gomes, and I am grateful to have you here. Today, I want to explore one of the most important questions in autism research and everyday understanding: why autistic people can experience the world so differently from those around them. This episode focuses on a simple but powerful idea. Autism is not random, it is patterned. It is a distinctive way of perceiving, processing, and responding to life. And this pattern helps us understand why autistic individuals' strengths and challenges are so deeply connected to one another. Across this series, we have already explored behavior, biology, and early development. Now we turn to the heart of the matter. The autistic mind does not work in fragments. Its characteristics are not isolated traits. They grow from interconnected cognitive differences that shape how information is processed. When we see these patterns clearly, we begin to understand autism not as a list of difficulties, but as a coherent and meaningful way of experiencing the world. One of these patterns is attention. Many autistic people focus intensely on specific details or interests. This deep focus can bring incredible insight, but it can also make it difficult to shift attention quickly. What looks like inflexibility is often the result of being deeply absorbed. What looks like distraction is often the result of noticing far more sensory or emotional information than others realize. Attention is not simply limited, it is differently distributed. Another pattern involves prediction. Much of everyday life relies on guessing what will happen next, how someone will react, how a social situation will unfold, or how a change in routine will feel. For many autistic people, predicting the world is harder because the world feels less certain. They may struggle to anticipate social cues or unexpected changes. This uncertainty can create anxiety, not because the person fears change itself, but because they cannot prepare for what they cannot predict. Their need for routine is not rigidity, it is a way of making the world feel safe. A third pattern involves sensory processing. The autistic sensory world is often more intense, more detailed, or more unpredictable. Lights may feel brighter, sounds sharper, textures uncomfortable, or movement overwhelming. Sensory information arrives in ways that can be hard to filter or prioritize. This is not a weakness, it is a different form of perception, and it helps explain why some environments feel comforting while others feel unbearable. These cognitive and sensory patterns shape the emotional world as well. Autistic people often feel emotions strongly but may struggle to interpret them or express them. They might appear calm on the outside while feeling distressed inside, or they might react intensely when their emotional system becomes overloaded. This is not overreaction. It is the natural response of a nervous system that is processing more information at once. One important message is that these patterns do not exist to cause problems. They exist because autistic minds work in rich and complex ways. The same perceptual depth that leads to overwhelm can also lead to creativity. The same intense focus that makes transitions difficult can fuel learning and expertise. The same honesty and directness that can cause misunderstandings can build trust in relationships. Yet these strengths and challenges are highly sensitive to environment. A child placed in an environment that demands constant social guessing may struggle deeply. The same child, placed in an environment that values clarity and calm, may thrive. The autistic profile is not fixed. It interacts with context, expectations, and support. This is why two autistic people can live with the same diagnosis, but experience life so differently. Understanding autism as a pattern of interconnected differences helps us move away from unhelpful labels. Words like mild or high functioning ignore the internal struggles that masking can hide. Words like severe ignore the richness of inner experience when communication is difficult. When we instead focus on cognitive and sensory patterns, we understand each autistic person as a whole individual, not a category. The more we understand these patterns, the more supportive we become. We stop trying to change the person. We start trying to change the environment. We reduce uncertainty. We make sensory spaces kinder. We offer clear communication. We slow down. We listen. We replace pressure with patience. And when we do, autistic strengths have space to grow, and autistic challenges become easier to navigate. The autistic mind is not a puzzle to be solved. It is a different way of being human. And when we honor that difference, we open the door to understanding, compassion, and connection. Throughout this series, we will continue exploring these patterns, how they relate to theory, how they shape behavior, and how they influence what support truly means. Thank you for listening. This is the William Gomes Podcast. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and I will speak with you again soon.